Oh boy. Oh boy. Fozzy and friends are not gonna be happy with that one. Oh boy. New Zealand versus Fiji. The second international test for the All Blacks for 2021. This was a real test. Unlike last week against Tonga, where New Zealand just had an easy runaway win, the Fijians really tested out the All Blacks. And, yeah. Fozzy and friends are not going to be happy with this one. So, let's go over some key points that happened in this game, okay? Fijians came out, really tested the All Blacks on the breakdown. The breakdown turnovers against the All Blacks, especially during the middle period of the game, was just outrageous. Like, the amount of turnovers the Fijis got was, looked really, really bad for New Zealand. They really have to work on that, the breakdown, because that was not exactly an international level performance at the breakdown, let alone a performance for the All Blacks, who are the best team in the world. The breakdown was horrendous, and also another thing that really kind of hurt the All Blacks, kind of like in a personal level, is that Beauden Barrett's kicking, goal kicking, was not good. He only landed 6 kicks out of 9 tries. That's just a bit over 60%. That's not good enough for an international 5'8". So Beauden Barrett did not look good for the 10th spot on the field. And also in the short period of 1 week, Beauden Barrett has had a complete free makeover on his face. He had black eyes given to him at training by his teammate. I think it was might have been Havili or Blackadder giving him 2 black eyes. So he started the game with 2 black eyes. And then during the game, he caught a boot on the face. He looked like really close to actually getting him on the eyes. So he had to get himself stitched up. And he had 2 really deep cuts on his face where the boots studs landed. So Beauden Barrett had a pretty bad week this week. And final thing that the All Blacks were struggling a little bit is their tackling. Fiji were able to score a bunch of 2 tries because the All Blacks tackling was a little bit off. And also the handling errors just did not click for the All Blacks for the first half in particularly. But they really did pull back in the second half and looked a lot better with when their reserve front rowers came on and stabilized the game. So let's have a look at some of the stats. So first of all, congratulations to Dan Coles, the first reserve forward ever in the history of rugby to score 4 tries off the bench. He only had 30 minutes and he scored 4 tries. And Fiji also, this is the best performance Fiji has ever put up against New Zealand in its history. New Zealand has always put so this is the fewest points New Zealand has ever put up against Fiji, and the most points Fiji has put up against New Zealand. So this was a pretty good result for Fiji as well. And finally, and also keep in mind that Fiji was in quarantine. They had to do their line-out drills in the car park, and the Fiji's line-out actually looked really, really, really spectacular against New Zealand. So that was also something to be congratulated for the Fijian team. So overall, 9 tries to 3, 516 run meters for New Zealand, 251 for Fiji, 95 carries for both teams, 31 defenders beaten to 19. So 19 defenders beaten, that is not good against the All Blacks. 10 clean breaks to 2. Let's have a look at turnover conceded, 11 for the All Blacks and 11 for Fiji. Tackling, this is what I'm talking about. 120 tackles for the All Blacks, 19 missed tackles. That is, 80-something percent. The All Blacks would probably want that to be at 90% with the tackling. For the Fiji, 102 to 31, so that's 70%. But Fiji definitely can improve on that, on their tackling as well. And a lot of that came from the second half, to be quite frank. The first half seemed pretty good for the Fijian defense. 9 turnovers for New Zealand and 10 for Fiji. 31 kicks in play, 31 for Fiji, 32 for New Zealand. 6 out of 9 conversions for Beauden Barrett. not very good for himself. A pretty bad night out. Whilst the what's his name? Is it Vinapula? How do you say his name? Let me have a look. One sec. The number 10, Vola missed both his conversions from the sideline, and yeah, that's pretty much the game. The All Blacks really has a lot to work on. Yeah, the All Blacks, in fact, All Blacks had 1 yellow card in this game. 15 considered penalties against 15 for Fiji. Yeah, the 1 yellow card from the All Blacks was repeated penalties when they were under pressure by Fiji, and Fiji actually gave it the same penalty as well. Repeated penalty by the All Blacks near their own try lines. I think the guy who got the penalty for the All Blacks was Havili, number 12. But yeah, anyway, let's have a look at let's go through some details of the game. So the best part of the game, always at the start, the pageantry. National anthem was sung. When the Fijian national anthem was being sung, players from both teams had teary eyes. Okay, so there were quite a few Fijian players playing for the All Blacks. So teams from both teams were quite emotional for this Fijian national anthem. And after the anthem, obviously, is the haka versus the Fimbi from the Fijian team. And Fijian went first, and then the haka in return. I still don't know why they don't do it at the same time anymore, because I thought that was just such a cool sight. I think nowadays it's more about respect, but who cares? The fans want to see some haka versus haka action, some Fimbi versus haka head to head, just some excitement, some animosity. But nowadays it's all about respect. Anyway, game starts from the right from the start. The All Blacks kind of played a bit of really loose kind of rugby. They almost like a Fijian. The accuracy was a little bit low. There was a really beautiful crossfield kick to Several Reese, who almost looked like was going to be the first Fijian to score. The crossfield kick, it got to Reese a little bit far, but Reese just towed it forward as he was landing on the ground. Just towed it forward like a beautiful soccer play or something. He towed it forward into the try zone. He runs up, just missed grounding the ball. He almost scored the first try for the All Blacks just a few minutes in. But eventually the All Blacks were penalised on the breakdown. Brody Retallick was lost the ball on the right-hand side of the field, just inside the New Zealand half. Vola gets the conversion. Oh yeah, so Vola actually got all the conversions, but he didn't. So he got all the penalties, but he didn't get a conversion. Vola gets a penalty kick. 3 points on the ball for Fiji. I think they get the first blood on the against the All Blacks. The first points against the All Blacks, right? Let me just give me 1 sec. Yeah, so 5 minutes in, Vola gets the first points against the All Blacks, but New Zealand tidied up the game a little bit. 8 minutes into the game, there was a penalty against the Fijians. The line out, a more comes in, a quick ball comes out, a really beautiful play in center field. There was a kind of like a dummy runner and then the ball went to Havili. Havili just lightning quick hands to Beauden Barrett, and Beauden Barrett once again lightning quick hands to his own brother, Geordie, the freak Barrett. Geordie struts in, just nice and easy with no defense in front of him. First try for the New Zealand, straight back. Just the first set piece they did from the line out. First, no faces, just first attempt, try time. It was just perfect to see. 13 minutes into the game, Fijian strikes back with another penalty. Identical spot on the field, on the right-hand side, just inside the New Zealand half. Vola seems to be pretty comfortable with his kicks. Bang, another 3 points on board Fiji. Fiji claws himself back in front once again, okay? And then the heat gets turned up by the All Blacks. Havili gets 2 back-to-back tries against the Fijians, and they both identical tries as well. So the first one, there was a penalty against Fijians. New Zealand All Blacks goes for a 5-minute line out. They got really close. The ball comes out. There was 2 decoy runners, and there was a really nice ball to Havili, who ran on inside angle. He shrugs off the defender. He gets under the post, reaches for the try. And the second one is pretty much identical, except this time there was no decoy runners. Again, another penalty. Literally 2 minutes later after this try was scored, the New Zealand kicked it out. The same quick ball comes in. There was 2 runners behind, instead of decoy run, 2 runners behind, like in the loop. The ball goes to Havili, who was the like in a flat ball. He just runs in, breaks the defender. 2 defenders were on him. He just runs through both of them with just sheer power and goes under the stick again, like virtually identical tries back to back within 3 minutes. Havili really looked good as an inside center, and that is something that the All Blacks will really appreciate from him for that effort. And 2 tries on the board, right back against the Fijians. And then 23 minutes in, that's where Bowden got his face reconstruction, has to go off the field. The McKenzie was on for 10 for a little while. On the 26th minute, the Fijians were on in the driver's seat. They really like hammered down the New Zealand, gave them a lot of pressure close to the All Blacks line. There was one time where you feel like they went over the line, but there was no try, so there was a bunch of people piling in. They get pull back out. And then eventually, there was a penalty against New Zealand for offside. So Fijian decides to go again. They kick the ball out, set it up for a maul. And the maul gets illegally collapsed. Let me see what happened. Yeah, the maul gets illegally collapsed. They go... let me try again. The maul gets, like, stopped. They kind of peeled, and then Albert Tuisui goes over for the first try for Fiji after like a nice period of consistent pressure against New Zealanders. And this point, that was just like something that I have never seen Fiji do to New Zealand, being able to apply consistent pressure and get up a line-out set piece, like worked so well. Just the more that the New Zealand really struggled to stop, and then, just piling on pressure and eventually going over for a try. So like that was, really good for Fijian. And there was a shot of Fozzy and friends after this try was scored. They all looked like really unhappy. And then Fijian kind of still kept the pressure up at 32 minutes. D-Mac gets laid out by one of the Fijian players. And I kid you not, this is played in New Zealand, in Dunedin. There was like more Fijian fans than actual All Blacks fans. D-Mac gets laid out. The whole place just goes wild cheering. Like everybody was cheering. And D-Mac is laid out. Not only he gets laid out, but he gives it a penalty. And there was just massive, and then there was a back-to-back breakdown penalty against New Zealand. So the Fijians were able to just build pressure on back-to-back penalties. But this was more Fijian fans there than the All Blacks fans. It sounded like it was just so loud. This whole stadium just popped up their feet when D-Mac gets laid out. It was really awesome. And then 33 minutes, Bonenberry gets back. And he looked pretty bad. He had stitches on his face. Eventually, that was the way the game ended in the first half. 21 points to 11 for the All Blacks. And the All Blacks weren't able to score any points after the 20th minute. And Fiji were able to put a lot of pressure on. And there was a lot of breakdown errors for the All Blacks. And Fozzy and Co was not happy. Second half, in fact, the All Blacks usually scores points just before the halftime. They got really close, but their execution of the breakdown meant that Fiji turned the ball over when they were about 5 minutes out from the try line. And that was something very uncharacteristic for the All Blacks. Second half starts, the All Blacks comes out swinging. George Bridge goes over 3 minutes into the second half. There was a Again, there was a bit of a penalty against the Fijians. They went for a line out, a couple phases off the line out, quick balls. There was just quick hands by everybody. It went to Beauden Barrett, and he sees George Bridge out wide open, and he threw a nice cutout, long pass to Bridge. He goes in for the try. This was very similar to one of the tries in the first half, where it was just a line out, quick ball, and Fijian were just scrambling for defense, and the quick ball on the breakdown really helped build up to that try where there was space out wide for George Bridge. And then on the 47th minute, the Fijians strikes back. There was All Blacks again were penalized on the breakdown. Fijians go for a line out. There was a nice little play from the Fijians. The ball comes down. They look like they're gonna set off the maul, but the guy takes the ball and he runs down that short side between the 5-meter line and the sideline. He runs in. He passes the ball to the hooker. Bodie Retallick missed the tackle on the hooker, so that was something that really bad. Hooker runs through. He gets really close to the try line, about 5 meters out. He pops the ball back in. As he getting tackled, he pops the ball back to a support player. Kunavula gets the ball and he crashes down for a try for Fiji. 47th minutes, right back in it. And the whole place at this point was just going bananas. Bananas. You think this game's played in Fiji instead of New Zealand? I have never ever in my life heard a crowd cheering for the visiting team in New Zealand louder than the All Blacks. They cheer for the All Blacks. Like, this is insane. Last week was pretty similar situation as well, but this week was like next level. And then on the 50th minute, finally, on the 50th minute, the All Blacks swapped out all of their forward pack. The whole new front row will come in, and a bunch of changes. Dan Coles is on the field. And right away, the All Blacks were able to apply a lot of pressure against Fijians in the lineouts, in the scrums, in the breakdowns. Straight away, there was a big difference in like clinicalness and the breakdown for the All Blacks. And then eventually, Fijian was given a yellow card for repeated penalties. Number 15 goes off the field for yellow card. And then New Zealand goes, all right, time to do our job. They go for a line out, go for a maul, perfectly set up. Dan Coles dots down. 5th try for the All Blacks. 1st try for Dan Coles. 51 minutes into the game, okay? And then Beauden Barrett missed this kick, which was not good. He missed a bunch of kicks, as I mentioned before. But anyway, a few minutes later, despite having one person in the bin, the Fijians were able to manage the next 10 minutes really well. They were able to build pressure again, and New Zealand were just falling into giving away penalties on the breakdown again. And, you know, despite the fact that the Fijians had one person off the field, instead of taking points on the penalties, they made a really brave decision to go for the lineouts. And sure enough, it's paid off. First lineout, it was New Zealand like stopped. They kind of like they were like offside at the breakdowns. While the Fijians were piling over near the line, trying to pick and go, trying to get over. New Zealand were offside, so then there was a penalty. So Fijian went for another lineout, and this time I think the what do you call it? The maul was illegally collapsed. Like I think the ball was sort of taken out in the air, and then when the referee saw that, penalty try, and then Havili goes off for 10 minutes. That was very, very impressive from the Fiji. Having one person in the bin to be able to put so much pressure on New Zealand to the point where New Zealand had to get yellow carded and get a penalty try. That was just amazing. And like I was saying, the crowds were just going absolutely bananas after this, okay? And it was just, you can almost feel like an upset could be coming. However, the All Blacks is the All Blacks for a reason. Some of their more experienced players are now on the field. The Wildkard is on the field. As I mentioned, Dan Coles on the field. And they're really just like crunched up the like, you know, put a pinch on and just really like screwed everything together and tightened up the game like dramatically after this penalty try was given. Only 3 minutes later, after this penalty try, there was a penalty for there was a penalty for there was another. So this point, this was a little bit of a bad luck for Fiji. I think the All Blacks had like a forward pass. The referee missed, and then instead of like going back for the forward pass, a very blatant forward pass, the Fijians were penalized for not supporting the weight on the breakdown, and the All Blacks just like, okay, we'll do what we're gonna do best. Line out, penalty goes for a line out going for a more Dan Cole's second try. Just, yeah, it was almost like the trump card. It's like, we're going to just keep... The trump card the All Blacks got, the more they just played that again and again and again to try to get themselves back into the game. So this is one where Dan Coles gets in for his second try, 63 minutes. A few minutes later, Will Jordan's on the field, and once he's on, it didn't take long for him to score a try. There was again, penalties against the Fijian. Like once again, the All Blacks went for a line out. This time they didn't go for the maul. They went for a crash ball. Blackadder was did a really, really strong running. He went over the scan line, and then the ball came back really quickly. The ball goes from Aaron Smith to Beauden Barrett. Beauden Barrett sees Will Jordan out wide. Big white cut-out pass to Will Jordan on the wing. Struts in. Try for the All Blacks. 7th try for the All Blacks on the 68th minute. And after that, it was just like trump card, back and back for New Zealand. On the 72 minutes, there was another breakdown penalty against Fiji. New Zealand went for the line out, went for the maul. Dan Cole's 3rd try, like identical, just move from the All Blacks. The maul was just so clinically executed, so crisp, especially with Whitelock and and Dan Cole's there. So just excellent. And then 3 minutes later, the Dan Coles gets his record-breaking 4th try. No one has ever done 4 tries in the second half as a reserve ever in the history of rugby. In the forwards, he gets. So there was the Fijians were. So there was a really nice break by Rico Ioane. He actually did a really nice angle. He made a nice 20-30 meters. Got the ball, carried the ball well inside the Fijian half. He offloads the ball to Finlay Christie. Christie runs up. He gets tackled. He's looking to offload. Couldn't find anybody. He gets tackled. The ball kind of goes down. There was a lot of stuff happening on the breakdown, and the ball just popped out behind the Fijian side, behind the Fijian defense. So someone in the Fijian team must have ripped the ball out. It went behind the Fijian defense. Dan Coles was there at the breakdown, and he sees the ball pop out behind the Fijian defense. He runs up, collects the ball, plants it down. Easy as that. Try. 4th try for Dan Coles on 75th minute. And that is the last try that was scored for this game. Fijian on the dying minutes were trying to make to make an effort to score a try. The crowd was going absolutely crazy for Fiji to score one last try on the 80th minute, but the All Blacks snuffed it out, turned the ball over, and that was the end of the game. Basically, Fozzy and friends are not going to be happy with this performance. Beauden Barrett are not going to be happy with this kicking. There's a lot of work for New Zealand to work on as a tier 1 nation, despite the fact that the players that they have on the field technically, like, the B team, but still, that is quite a against a team that has been in quarantine, that had been, doing the line-out drills in the car park, literally. You should, even with the reserve team, shouldn't have been so scrappy. Especially when the reserves from the All Blacks played, all seasons through Super Rugby as well. It's, really not a great performance by the All Blacks, despite the big margin win. The Fijians really play well. Congratulations to them. But I think there's going to be a lot of chatter about the All Blacks after this game. And next week, it's going to be a big match again for the All Blacks. They're playing Fiji for the 2nd time next week. And to see how the All Blacks, bounce back from this game, how much are they going to tidy up this game. Don't see them lose next week, but it's just like, they definitely will want to look for a much more clinical performance coming off this one. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching these videos. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys a bit later tonight for Argentina versus Wales. That's going to be a really big game tonight. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.